All right, boom, we're live. I'm here with my good brother Jordan, man. How you doing?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. Doing real
Hey,
good.
man, I see you got the merch on, man. What's Hey.
Oh, yeah, that's the drip. Yeah, that's the elevator ring. Yeah. Man, but it's my tank top, bro. Just got some more merchandise coming soon, but just ordering stuff, wearing it. I love this tank top. Some of my clients even asking for it. So
yeah, I've been trying to get back in the gym. I don't, me and tank tops, I ain't really there yet. But give me about a couple, 2-3 months. I'm having one of them tank tops too, man. Taking a photo for IG and all that stuff. But how are you, man? How's your mental? How's your spiritual? How's everything? It's a lot been going on. Obviously, we was going to work on something the past couple of weeks, but life happens, and even in regards to quarantine, it's kind of hard to maneuver. But how's everything, man?
Man, everything is beautiful, man. And I just want to commend you for you even bringing that or asking me about my mental health, anything, man. That's powerful. I even said that that's something we got to get into, and I've been wanting to talk about it. So I think that's really dope, man. So about with the consultations or whatever, we need to have an open discussion about everything. Because one, with black men, then not even just black men, but everybody dealing with this whole thing. We got COVID, we got the Black Lives Matter movement, we got police brutality, we got everything going on. So it's just, but I mean, things are what they are. I think, I'm good. I'm blessed. I think I'm better. My situation is better than most, so I can't be too, everything is everything.
Yeah, man. And, you said what? I'm sorry.
No, you good.
I was saying, man, that, it is a lot going on. And even the past couple of weeks, I've been, fortunate enough to have a lot of conversations because I'm really in a space right now, man, where, I think everybody does things differently. And I think people view activism differently. Some people are on the front lines protesting. Some people are socially and, financially supporting. But I believe I'm in a space where I can have conversations to enlighten myself, enlighten others about what is going on, because it's just as important. Like I mentioned to you a couple minutes ago, we had a conversation with a good brother of mine. His name is Darius, and he's a member of the LGBTQ community. And, us being heterosexual guys, we don't necessarily have that conversation about supporting them, because I saw a video a couple weeks ago, man. I don't know if it was in the area protesting, but I just saw about 6 or 7 black males attacking I believe it was a trans male. And that kind of like opened my eyes. So I was like, yo, everything is going on. Obviously, we want justice for Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, and all the countless other members. But we also got other issues within our community as well, man, that we have to, we got to put our energy into. And so that conversation, man, was very enlightening, because, that type of conversation is tough, like to own up to the fact that you don't know the type of stuff in regards to the things that we have said growing up. I mean, how we grew up. Sexuality and mental health is like probably like the two no-nos we don't really dive into. And a lot of us grew up, mainly going to church. Black churches and necessarily view sexuality as open as it is today. Mental health was always something that was told us that we should pray about. And, rather, regardless of if you believe in prayer or not, it's like, it's gotta be more than just, praying and not having a deeper conversation to learn about the other issues that are going on that are just as important. Because if we're going to say that all of our lives matter as far as black people, we have to also be on account for every aspect of that and what that looks like. And that's the thing that, I've been very, grateful about to have that conversation. But I think with mental health, man, I think I'm talking to the guy that is I won't say that, you're one of the few people that I would say that I would be very open to have this conversation with, because everybody looks at mental health differently, and you take it very serious in regards to, we should have that conversation and what that looks like, especially as males. And I think Darius opened my eyes to that the other day with our conversation, is that, when we talk about trauma, at least as far as straight men, at least as far as straight black men, you got the dog, cool. If you hear the barking, dog.
Hey, Judge. Your old dogs and they. Well, one of them old and grumpy as hell. My bad.
No, you're good. But what I was saying is that, you know, we don't. He was opening up my eyes to how most black males, just most males in general, how we view trauma and how we go about it. And I was saying, you know, when it comes to our egos, a lot of us have a hard time keeping our egos in check. That's why we have a hard time with like learning about what goes on and all that type of stuff. And then we don't really have the same outlets when it comes to opening up about mental health. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, most of us will utilize sports or the gym. You know, that's an outlet. But, you know, once you leave the workout or the field, like, you know what I mean? You can't hide the pain forever. And we should be able to open up and have those conversations, man. But take me into that aspect of mental health. Why is it so important to you? What got you to this point? What made this a true staple into one of the things that you're trying to do?
I mean, I think mental health to me, I mean, it's everything you said, right? All the things that we go through growing up, the things that we're told, how we view things when it comes to masculinity, when it comes to all those different things in our own community, but not just in the Black community, but in the world, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at it in that aspect, like the way we think, right, and how we destroy ourselves because we don't have these conversations. Nobody wants to be, quote unquote vulnerable, right? You know how I feel about vulnerability. We had that conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the issue. You said we found outlets for things, right? We look for things outside of ourselves to fix ourselves. Yeah. Because we're dealing with stuff internally and we're looking externally for the answer, but we do not. There is no external answer, right? Everything is internal because that's where the problem lies. So, and that's something that we have to talk about. And I think that, that's the reason things are the way they are. But we have to figure it out, I think, for ourselves. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a crazy subject. Dude. When you talk about mental health, there's so many different aspects that go into it, right? But it's really just your thought process at the end of the day. But I can't even just say that, right? It's not only how you think, it's how you feel, it's how you act, your environment, right? It's all those things have a play in how you live your life or how you react to different things, right? Or your perception of your reality. And that's why we have to talk about it, because we have to open up to understand each other, one. And that's a big thing, because everybody thinks completely different from another person, right? Different views. We're all experiencing this world in a totally different way, right? But all the same at the same time. And that's why we need to talk about it, right? To share those things. And it all go back to love, man. We just need to teach people how to love themselves.
It's hard, though. You know, like that's, and I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off from your
You're good. You're good.
But that's hard because a lot of us most of us grew up in environments where love wasn't always given to everybody. That makes sense. So like you have your parents, right, that love you, right? But there's some people who didn't have that opportunity being around their parents and have that true love and nurture, in regards to understanding what love means. Because, at least as men, we were never told to like really love and embrace that fully, like be fully open to love. Because usually if we think about it, most of us, growing up as guys, we're very open to everything. We're very open to what we love, what we like to do. But once we get that first real, heartbreak, whatever it is, a wall immediately pops up. Like, for example, your first love, that's a woman or a male, depending on your sexuality. As soon as you get that first heartbreak, no matter what happens, 9 times out of 10, a wall forms up. Right. Instantly. Automatic. This is something I've struggled with for a long time. Got my heart broken at, I don't know, it's been so many times, but it had. I would say the main one when I was about 19, And from 19 to now, you know, my relationship with love has been it's been like a roller coaster. It's up and down. It's like I'll let you in to a point, and I'm like, hold on. This is getting a little too open.
Yeah.
And things will usually abruptly end. Don't be my fault. But it's like I didn't necessarily go in with the mindset of being fully open to love. I was always told, oh, Rashad, you're so emotionally disconnected, or there's some days I feel loved by you and the other days I don't. Or
Right.
And it's one of those things where you try to explain what goes on, you try to explain how you feel. And not everybody's receptive to that. If that makes sense. So like, males aren't taught properly how to express their emotions without some sort of negative viewpoint behind it. So like, you play football, prime example.
Right.
Football is a very brute, aggressive sport. I'm pretty sure there was days where y'all was practicing whatever it was, but like it was always that one person that was moaning and groaning. And what would the coach do? Usually the coach will make the whole team do something again. Right? He's trying to get the emotion. He's trying to negate the emotion because obviously it's football, it's a sport. It's about mental toughness, but there is also underlying message in that too when it comes to like men talking to men. Like, I get it. You all may be doing up downs, but like, how about we ask this dude what's wrong? Obviously we know what's wrong, but like we are so quick to deflect the issue that leads to other things too. So like, you go to middle school and high school, you like somebody or you got friends, or something personal is going on. All your friends, man, you be all right. It's okay. Things will pass, but like nobody takes the time to like really sit down and like, yo, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, how you feeling? Like all stuff gets negated. It's passed down usually, like by your parents, your dad's, uncles, barbershop talk, you know what I mean? But like, and that stuff builds up after time. It builds up after a long amount of time. And that's why most of us struggle with this type of stuff when we get older. But
I think that's the thing. Like the fact, like you explained it, I think perfect, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's the thing. You got to become aware of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're aware now, right? So it's not your fault that you went through those things. It's not your fault because but you had to experience like that heartbreak. You had to experience that heartbreak, right? But how you react to that experience is everything. And how we, like you said, how we normally react is we put up a wall. But that's the thing, we put up the wall because of that experience, we react that way. So anytime we feel those good emotions rising up, we get nervous because we associate it with a bad end or a bad result.
Right.
But that causes us to, because we think that way, that causes our body to feel that way. And we in turn, right, we have those emotions and we make the same decisions based off of that cycle because we think the same way. So our behavior becomes the same, actions become the same, and we get the same result. So the only way to fix that is become aware of it, right? You got to become aware of, all right, so why do I feel the way that I feel? Mm-hmm. Was it because of my parents? Was it because of this? Was it because of all of it? 9 times out of 10, like you said, it was. Mm-hmm. So it's not, and you have to realize, like, damn, I got this way because I was told lies my whole life.
Yeah.
And I believed them. So now I have to believe in something different. I need to believe that I can love. I need to believe that it's okay to allow myself to do that. I need to believe I can go against societal norms and not feel like a punk or a bitch or whatever, right? For real. You gotta,
I'm following.
You gotta believe that, you gotta just go against it. Think a different way. And it's not, you said it's not easy. You don't just do it, but you're not responsible for, that happening to you, you becoming like that because you didn't know. But once you become aware of it, you're responsible to fix it.
That's true. I guess my next question would be, I think we're all aware, and I think that a lot of us just usually don't act upon the awareness. But I guess my question is, what do we do collectively I mean, you know, it's an individual case by case, and I don't believe you can change everything, you know, collectively right away. But collectively, what should we do as men to inform other men, whether they're younger or older, you know, the importance of mental health? Because again, this is something that usually gets brushed off because of being vulnerable is, you know, is usually often, you know, compared to as a weak emotion.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It has to be the only way to change it is to do exactly that. Just keep putting it out. I mean, you gotta share your experiences. You know, you gotta be vulnerable enough to do that. If you show vulnerability and they see where you come from and they see how you are, you know, especially to the younger generation or anybody, they'll go, okay, wow, you know, they're showing me something different. That's something they've never seen before. The more and more times they see that, the more and more times they realize, okay, this is something that I can do and it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Or they see a certain person doing it, like, okay, I can do it, it's okay. Because they have their relationship. So it's one of those things to where, you know, it just has to, you have to spread it, man. It's like, you have to teach people to love themselves. And you do that by loving them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Or being vulnerable. So
You've read the I think we've talked about this. You've read is it The Way of a Superior Man, A Wave to a Superior Man? It's
yeah.
by David
Either.
yeah, Dieter. I've been reading this book, man, and it's crazy because I feel like this is literally the greatest thing that's been written when it
Come on,
comes
this
to
book.
I got on ebook. I didn't want to pay no taxes, but but yeah, man, that book is broken down into various parts, man, and it's very interesting because you mentioned about how, you know, what you think leads to actions, which leads to other things, right? It is kind of like it's like a holy trinity. It's like the mind, body, and spirit of masculinity, which is very interesting because I think, and this could be for all guys, this could be for all people. I think every guy reaches a point where it's tough for them to, I guess, keep going. I think, you know, what we've been told, you know, to, you know, find our purpose and provide and, you know, do this and you have to be successful. And, you know, I'm starting to ask myself, like, are we really saying the right thing to young men growing up? Are we really saying the right thing to older men as they continue to get older and to, you know, inform the next generation? I'm starting to question, what is the purpose of men? Like, what is our actual purpose? Are we supposed to collectively do something, or are we supposed to individually do something? I don't know.
I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, I tell you this, I know that it's crazy because you said men, but you mentioned a book, right? And if you pay attention in the book, it actually talks about how it's not even the men, it's just a masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we're talking about a homosexual man in a homosexual relationship, if he's the masculine energy in that relationship, the book is geared towards him. Or even if it's a homosexual woman with another homosexual woman and she's the masculine energy in the relationship, the book is geared towards her. So when you talk about purpose, I mean, you just have masculine and feminine energies. And I think that that's another conversation that we have to have, because as men, we think that we have to be super masculine, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have both masculine and feminine, right? Even when we talk about God, we say him, father, everything. But to be honest, God has no gender. There's no way you can give God a gender. There's no possible way. You cannot define God for something as simple as man or woman. So when you think, and even if you read the Bible or anything, even the Quran, God has masculine and feminine traits. You know what I mean? So when you think about it in that aspect, he can be both loving and strict at the same time.
Right.
You know, but I think that we have to figure out what's comfortable with us. I think we need to stop listening to the world, because there are relationships where the woman is a provider. You know, relationships where they're stay-at-home dads. You gotta it's all about the more masculine, feminine energies. Whether you can't let the pressures of the world, you know what I mean, kind of define you. You have to kind of find that within yourself. What does it mean to be a man? Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a tough thing because that's the thing. It's a label, right? It's a label. Like, yeah, I'm a man, handle my responsibilities, and it's a thing that we grow up and we feel like, yeah, I'm a man now. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a thing, but it's like, you know, I think that's the energy that comes along with it, though. It's that masculine energy, you know, because even it's women that be like, yeah, I'm the man. You know what I mean? Like, so it's the energy, man. It's the energy for real.
No, and I agree. And I think, I don't know. I think about all the books I've read about understanding us better, this did explain it the best because he didn't just masculinize the book. He made it about energy. And he was talking about the difference between, you know, masculine and feminine energy. What are women trying to say in these different moments when they're expressing themselves or when they're putting upon their energy upon males? So it is very interesting to know that he's giving you kind of like under a balance of like, okay, this is what this means. And also understand that, as you mentioned, yeah, there's going to be women that have more of a masculine energy.
Exactly.
And it's usually could be dependent on their situation growing up where they've had to provide for themselves. So gender roles is a huge issue to a fault when I think comes to pressure and, you know, understanding, providing. Because honestly, I've been trying to figure that out when it comes to, you know, I think when it comes to like young people and dating, because that's another issue too. And I'm not a relationship guru. I failed more relationships than I think. Hey, bro. But what I've learned, what I've learned in what I've learned in them is that you know, oftentimes there's this like this standard of what people want in a partner, especially when there's between male and females. But like when we're thinking about male and females, a male standard of what women want in a male is often coming from an exterior place. So, for example, a man should have a job. Agreed, right? But that goes into different levels. What type of job? Where's his pay grade? What else does he have? Does he have a nice car? Does he have a nice house? Where does he want to live? Does he like to travel? Right? All these things that I guess you can consider them important, but like all those things are sometimes required before even knowing the guy.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Knowing what he do, know who he is, where he come from.
Right. And often,
man, go ahead. My bad.
And that's right. Often it goes into the aspect of providing. That's not nobody's fault, but it's also like a lack of an awareness of that can also be very problematic. Think about this: a young 22-year-old dude, he's out, right? He's out and he's trying to get to know a woman in the club, for example, or wherever he's at. And, you know, I've learned that the language between getting to know male and female is a lot different, you know, especially like in first dates. Like men, we don't really take the time to like ask women about, you know, what they do, their job, you know what I'm saying, like their credit score. Like, you know, it's just a joke, but
I mean, I do. I mean, not credit score.
But I'm just saying though, like it's
I'm just joking.
No, but what I'm saying is that it's not the same level of expectation when it comes to the external aspect of a person, like, you know, between male and woman. Because a woman, we like women for who they are usually. And then we kind of find out later with a woman asking about what you're doing before they get to know you.
I think you're exactly right. I think that I've been out, and I think one of the first 2 questions I've been asked, right? What do you do? I think one girl forgot to ask me her name and was like, what do you do? But she forgot to ask me my name and she was just like, what do you do?
Yeah.
But like, I think that, and then you have women that target that. That's what they want. You know what I mean? If you can't offer that to them, they'll move forward. not all women are like that, so I will give praise to the women that aren't like that. All right, but because we got to say that, that's why I said it. We know we got to, but we do, man, we do. But I think that, it's very problematic. But when I think that this conversation, women have a lot to say, but when it comes to this conversation, a lot of them cut it quick. They like just like that. They say, "No, I want the man to provide." They will say that, But I've seen different levels. Like I'm sorry, I see my mom provide for 3 children and be the breadwinner in all of her relationships. That's just me. That's what I've seen. So do I expect that from my woman? No.
Now hold on real quick. Hold that up really quick. Now, this is a prime example. I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. Did your mom treat men like they were less than because of that?
No. But I do think that a lot of men that she met couldn't handle that. Like, especially, before she was married, for Pops, like, some men can't handle it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, rest in peace, Pops. Like, obviously he married her, so he was understanding, he got it. You know what I mean? But it's men that just couldn't handle that. Like, it's the truth. They feel like she may belittle them or whatever, but it's not there. She just got it. Like, she don't need you. But I think that's a beautiful thing, to have a woman that wants nothing from you but
your love.
And it's some men that lose power in that. It's some men that get their comfortability or their confidence from their dollar or what they can do for somebody. And once they realize they can't do that for them, their self-esteem goes down. You know what I mean? It's men like that. It's men like that.
There's a lot of men like that.
I've seen them up close and personal. But it's just, and that's a problem too. So again,
why is that a problem? I'm just asking. I know that's a open-end question. You by yourself can answer that, but I'm just very curious to know why is that a problem?
Why do you not have the confidence enough? Because guess what? Some men, they don't give. I mean, again, this for some women, that's all they want. And they see somebody, obviously, they probably never talked to women before, but all of a sudden they get all this money and all these women come around. What do you think is going to happen? Right? So it's like your reaction to your experience, kind of like what we talked about. But it's all about how, I think as men, if you got confidence, man, you can do anything. You can get anybody. Sorry. As long as you're confident. That's just what it is.
Do you think confidence is taught, or you got
to build it, man.
You got to build it.
You got to build it within yourself. It's definitely taught. Like, I feel like as parents, right, you should definitely teach your children to be confident within themselves. You can do anything. You should be able to do anything. But unfortunately, not everybody is told that. Mm-hmm. Some people told you ain't going to be shit. Some people told you ain't going to be nothing. Somebody told, like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? That's what some people are told. So it's just like, that plays a part in it too. It's just programming. So it goes back to teaching people how to love themselves if they don't know how. Because you got to feed yourself that power into yourself. To tell myself, I know I'm the shit. You know what I mean? Like, to get up and feel that way. Not just to say it, but to feel it.
Yeah.
It's power in that. So.
I'm sorry. I'm listening. You know who Jason Wilson is? I heard of Jason Wilson.
I think I have.
Jason Wilson is.
I better have. I think
Jason Wilson is I consider him like a transformative martial arts expert with young black males in Detroit. I read his book. I don't know. I think I talked about it. It's called Cry Like a Man. Mm. This book, I would say, is probably my second favorite between that and The Way of a Superior Man, because how Jason explains everything, and he explains everything from his perspective, his life growing up. And it's basically about fighting for freedom and emotional incarceration, because he believes that most of us are incarcerated emotionally, especially as black males. And he was talking about a period in his time, and I want to just gauge your thought on this, because this is often this is often a knock, but a truth we need to come to grips with. We teach, we're taught at a young age about, being sexually active. You know what I'm saying? Like we're taught, like from sixth grade. I remember in elementary school from sixth grade on, like I knew people that were truly getting into sexual activities, right? And then they'll go, and then we'll go back to our friends, and then we'll talk about all these different things about what would happen. But he talked about in his book that when he lost his virginity in high school, and how low he felt afterwards, because he realized he did it just to say he did it. You know what I mean? I kind of even tied up to my own experience. I didn't necessarily lose my virginity until after high school. I made a deal with my grandma that I'll wait till after high school. But
you got to keep the promise to grandma.
I remember just going to all boys school. The amount of like built up pressure to like try to falsify what you actually are doing. Cause everybody at the lunch table talking about what they're doing this weekend, who they're hanging out with, and then you just feel like the energy just shifting towards like, let's see what Rashad's doing.
Yeah.
But I was very firm in standing on what it was. It was what it was, and I didn't deny it. But it was just one of those things. Like I know so many people that was faking it, man.
Yeah.
It's like, because you just want to feel accepted in the group. You know what I mean? Like you want your homeboys to be like, yeah, we know you doing it too. But like it's no point of but I realize there's no point of doing like lying.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I don't even know I have a question for it. I'm wondering what can we do to like allow children to be children. And if they are curious in that moment, obviously educate them then. But I just feel like from 5 and up, we tell little boys, man, you got to have all these girls when you get to a certain age, or like, you got a girlfriend, they like 6. I'm like, yo, bro, like, let the kid play a video game, bro. It's like, why are we so quick to pressure and label children for what we want them to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that kind of stirred back to my conversation with Darius, because he was talking about how when he was in high school, he knew his sexuality, but being around his friends that were all straight males, he had to adjust it so they won't think anything less than him. And I was sitting there thinking, like, man, the crazy thing is, when I met him in college, I did not know. I had no idea. People would tell me, I'm like, no, he's not. Then I found out, I was like, okay, but it didn't. But I didn't. Even if he was, I didn't see him like that.
Yeah, you ain't care.
But I was just like, okay, what's the issue? I was just like, that's just what it is. But yeah, man, I don't know. We have to stop doing that. We have to quit sexualizing children at a young age, especially us, bro. That's why a lot of us be so messed up when we get older. That's why a lot of us be womanizers when we get older. It's not, if you were, hey, I'm saying this right now, man. If you single, man, do what you want to do. But I'll be honest with you. After messing with so many women, bro, you're gonna keep getting the same result. It's just what it is. You might as well just find one, or if you like Lou Will, find 2, build them up. I'm just saying.
I had a conversation about polygamy the other day.
Really?
That's crazy. That's a different conversation.
Polygamy is an interesting concept.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
You want to have that right now? Have the conversation right now.
I'll say this. I'll let you explain your concept.
All right.
Polygamy is interesting because it is something that was very big in African culture. Once again, as I mentioned, that's one aspect. Polygamy was very big in a lot of Black cultures, at least based off what I've read. And if I'm wrong and you listen to this, please educate me. But I've read a lot of books and things of that's just how it was in a certain period of time. And so that's why I think a lot of Africans have issues with us in regards to our way of life. And I'm not saying that's what they do now. God don't know. But like the original intent of was it monogamy? When is you being monogamous?
Yeah.
So I didn't know at first. I was okay. So they originally they wanted to implement that so much in African cultures because they were trying to slow down the birth rate of Black people. So when they came into America, that was something that was instilled as well. Crazy concept. Don't know the 100% accuracy behind it, but it is very interesting how that plays today, where we are essentially, when we're somebody, we have to be with that one person. And if you mention somebody else, you might as well grab your stuff and go ahead and just dip out because it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about your thoughts about that, man. I'm curious.
Man, my dog asked me, man, because he was like, "What do you think about it, Jay? Would you have 2 wives?" And I'm just like, bro. I mean, I don't know if I want to share it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, given in that culture, I think polygamy, I don't think you have to. I think it's just you have wives. But when I think about it, man, that's tough because I can't sit here and say that I'm against it because I feel like if people want to do that,
yeah,
by all means, do it. If you find 2 women that are happy with being with you and solely you, by all means, God bless you. Like, even if the roles were reversed, you know, God bless you guys. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. I think it's just allowing people to do what they want to do, and it is because I hear people talk about it. Like I'm starting to see it more and more now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that it's like again, it's interesting. I'm laughing because when you think about it, like, oh my God, like, gotta watch what you say. What you say?
No, I'm like, you know, let him finish his statement before I say anything.
I mean, no, definitely. I think that, man. I mean,
but it's a crazy more concept. Than 2 women,
even if it's like 5 wives, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, could it work? Possibly.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Possibly, because me, bro, I don't know. I've never been. Maybe if they all, I don't know. Maybe some agreement, yeah. But I've never been able to. Hey, chill.
Realistically, you know, we all know.
Yeah, we all know.
That's very hard.
I wouldn't even no. But I would say this, like for me, I do feel like to be in love with one person, you know what I mean? I think that's like when you feel that you got that for that one person, it's different. Like you're gonna always favor one over the other. And I think that's the thing. Some people do it for financial gain and business. Some people do it because it makes sense, especially when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. And but they still have, it's people that get married just because it makes sense for business and they do their own separate thing. You know, it's people that still do that. So when you think about it in that aspect, I mean, it's kind of lost today. It's just not out there. You know what I mean? So it's here, but it's not out there. It's funny when you think about it, you know, sexually and all the other stuff, but at the same time, it has different aspects to it too. Aspects to it too.
Definitely. And I don't agree with this. I love who I'm with. I know she's gonna listen to this, so let me put that out there. But I'm not concerned about that. It's just one of those things of like the concept is very interesting because I've seen a lot of, and this is a small sample size of women that are in those type of relationships express why it's been beneficial for them in regards to they feel like that they're getting a complete version of their man. I don't know how, but that's just what they feel inwardly. And it's very interesting because, you know, monogamy, I think, can be very beautiful if it's done with the right person, because one woman really is enough, depending on the type of woman that you have. And women, women do a good job of. I mean, it's just the truth. At least in the book, that's what he was expressing. Women do a good job of testing you in all different aspects. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, it could be a simple task of picking up something at a certain time. You know, they may mention it to you once or twice, and then they just kind of, you know, they let you hear it. Because no guy ever want to really disappoint their woman. When your woman is mad, you have to do so much work to just make sure that she's okay. And that's why I think one is enough, but I also understand some people are okay with 2 or 3. I couldn't do it. I personally couldn't do it, but I'm not knocking it at all. I just think for the people who do knock it, you have to do your research on why it was established in the first place.
Right.
Just like when I mentioned the conversation with Darius, we was talking about same sexual culture in ancient African times. That was also practiced as well. That you can Google that. So we was asking about how it went from that to now it's not really normalized. I mean, it's getting normalized in society today, but within our communities, it's not really something that we look up towards as a collective. We're not there yet. So it is very interesting to know, like, that was happening too. And now here we are where we're not necessarily fully agreeing with that or being supportive for that. So that is another conversation in itself. But it is a conversation that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't know too many people who would like that. And I don't know if they're alive to tell it. But
I think it goes back to just accepting it, man. If you got people that, the thing is, if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it, why do you care? It's not affecting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And that actually leads into another point. I want to ask you this, and I'm working on this aspect of my next book that I'm not going to put a title out yet. I ain't going to put no pressure on myself, but working on another book.
All right.
And I'm trying to talk about men being envious and why that is a issue. Why do you think we are envious? Why do you think, let me go back. Do you think that envy is a vice, first and foremost? Would you consider that a vice? If not a holistic vice for everything, would you consider that a vice for a man?
Okay, put it in different terms for me.
So, obviously, you got vices and virtues, right?
Right.
Usually vices are associated with things that are negative, right?
Right.
Okay, make sure I'm right because this is what I've been working on. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So vices are usually viewed as negative. So some vices are, greed, envy, jealousy, the deadly sins of humanity, right?
Right.
Reason why I was considering envy to be a vice because I asked the question, why are you so concerned about another man in regards to what they're doing, who they're with, you know what I mean? And it kind of, and I can use the term haters. You know what I mean? It's like, why is that an issue?
I think it's because of the male ego. Again, it's the world. Again, it's all the different things we hear from feminine energy. It's all about the money. Even what we tell ourselves, money, cars, clothes, whatever the case may be. Or even if we just think something about somebody, think somebody is, has something or has all these things, or they come off a certain way, or they're a way that we're not, or we wish we could be. Different things like that, right? It's hidden emotions and things that men have deep inside that they don't talk about or don't know how to address, right? And I think that's the thing. We don't know how to react to different things. So what comes out is envy. I've felt envy from many men. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, and I've been, I said, no, serious. If I've been envious, I wouldn't say envious, but I will say I've been jealous, but in a good way. Or even just
jealous as far as like the fuel?
Huh?
You said jealous like in a good way?
Yeah, and I think that's what I try to practice being jealous in a good way, because we all been jealous in a bad way. I mean, at some point in our lives. But like jealous, like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, you get jealous. But I think in a good way for me, it's like, it's something we all got to practice, like, damn, he already taken off with that. Good for him, man. I got to catch up. You know what I mean? And my dog barks. Hey.
It's all good. Hey, baby.
All right.
You're good.
All right. But, it's that type of thing. But, again, it's all the different things we were taught, man. So if you feel like you're not adequate as a man, you know what I mean? to be who you're supposed to be and do things you're supposed to do, give women everything, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing.
I'm really, you make a valid point. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's very valid. I guess we all are envious in some capacity. That's something we all been jealous of something. Like I was joking about football players before we started, how at least when we was in college, you all just had this presence when y'all came in. All the attention just kind of came on y'all, right? If you're not a part of that circle, I could just be hating. I'm like, as I was joking about it, but that's a true emotion that, you sit there like, man, like, I'm smart, this, that, and the third, but that's just what it is. And we all are. I just think that I wish we spent the same amount of energy putting it into ourselves and what we're trying to do. Why am I so over concerned about what you are doing, especially if we're not speaking about doing something together? You know what I mean? So, like, obviously, we have a competitive nature. It's who we are, right? So, I have friends that do podcasts. When they drop, I pay attention to when they drop. Okay, and you start pulling out notes and stuff like that. There's a competitive nature, but I'm not like, man, why is this podcast this, that, and the third? You know what I mean? At least after a while, once you get to a level of like confidence within yourself, you learn, man, you just follow your own lane. You realize you can't focus on that. Like if a dude if a dude is in the league for the past 5 years and you just got to the league, but your story was a lot harder, but you just now in the league, you can't really get mad at dude at the league, 5 years ago. That's just, it's nothing you can do about it. Life isn't fair to that amount. And it's kind of sad, but it's also the truth. There's a lot of good football players that will never go to the league just because of politics or they didn't have the height. There's a lot of hoopers that can give you 40 in the gym, but they will never play on an NBA team because of politics. Doesn't mean they weren't good enough, but it's just one of the things of there's an unfairness to that. There's some people who will be the top speakers in the world, some who will not. It's just some things are just luck. But my thing is me spending my time being mad about you doing something doesn't really do anything for me. Doesn't. It's just wasted energy. That's why I consider it a vice. Because I'm just wasting my time and energy. Instead of like
That's
just
good advice. I think it has to do with the male ego. It has a lot of things that we deal with. I think that's exactly what it is. It is a vice. I agree.
That's good because that's what I'm talking about.
No, it is because you got to understand, man. That emotion, it's a negative emotion that's a result. And like I'm big on mental health. That's a result of all the shit that we tell ourselves. All right, people, like just for that instant, you know what I mean? Like when we talk about football, especially in the Black community, to play sports on a Division I level is huge. At that point, you looking to go to the league. Everybody is, indeed, that's a D1 athlete. They're like, oh yeah, that's potential. So when you look at it in that aspect, women pay more attention, people pay more attention, everybody pays more attention. And then if you're on national television, you get that. Just that on a team in itself does something because of all those different thought processes about football players.
Yeah.
So it does something because we're thinking like that, we feel something. But that's because it disturbs us because it's been a part of our culture, that type of, reaction to stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So we got to work against it, man. But it all goes back to going within yourself and realizing, like, how about what am I doing? Talking yourself up, you know what I mean? Like, what have I accomplished? Mm-hmm. Like you said, shit, I'm a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's huge. Like to be able to articulate yourself on and put emotion on paper. And not only put emotion on paper, but have people feel your emotion through writing or your words. It's powerful. You talk about all the time, bro, in the beginning was your words. So like, but having that realization within yourself is what matters. Because anybody can say it, but until you realize that I'm a writer or I'm an artist or I'm just great at who I am, that's all that matters, being the best version of yourself. But that's what we got to be taught. It's not taught. It's not said. That's why these conversations have to continue to be had, continue to be shared. You know, it's all experience, bro.
I agree, man. I just wish we would just stop hating on each other, man. We all so talented. We just talented in different. We just talented in different lanes, and I've also learned you can't be great at everything. You can only be great at like, and you can. I mean, you mentioned this to me the other day, and it just like clicked. I was like, well, you got these 50 million ideas. Realistically, you can't put the same amount of time in all those ideas. So what is it that you really want to spend your time with? You start clicking. I'm like, well, you like to write, like to record, dive your time into those two things. And as time progresses, you will get to that point. But I can't do 50 million things at once. It's not gonna dive into the same amount. And a lot of that sometimes is just me, or people just trying to figure out their niche and trying to figure out, their place. I know I'm not 6'3", 200 pounds, so I'm not a football player. I mean, I can hoop, but I'm not going to the league. So hey, my game is nice though. Hey, relax.
I get in the gym.
Hey, bro, you know what's going on right now. I ain't going nowhere.
Pro-Am?
Pro-Am. Hey, ain't no Pro-Am, no. I play Pro-Am on 2K. Catch me on that. You know what I mean? No, ain't that nice. I'm like a 3-and-D player. I'm like dark-skinned Klay Thompson. That's what I call myself. I don't. I put the ball on. I don't put the ball on the floor. Nothing like that. I just
shoot,
catch and shoot.
Jeez, I need you on my team.
Yeah, bro, just catch and shoot. It's just all I do, catch and shoot. But no, talk to me about the app. This is why we're here. Talk to me about the Elevated Being app.
So the Elevated Being Fitness app, man, I'm excited about it. There's a lot of things going into it, right? So first and foremost, you have a community. That's what I'm happy about. I got a community of people within Elevated Being. Anybody that signs up for the app, anybody that's maybe even into our writings, anybody that's just looking to make a change within themselves, whether it be for fitness or mental health, right? And on the app, so it's pretty cool. You got your own login, you got your own profile. You also have nutrition help. So on the app, you have a diet plan and everything to help you get to where you need to be as far as nutrition, at least a guide, right? It kind of gives you a roadmap for how many carbs, how much protein, how much fat you may need to eat, even how all the calories you need is on there. Then it even has a scanner, right? So you can scan your food at the grocery store, wherever you're at. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And then there'll be workouts on there designed by me. So I have workouts on there for you guys, for anybody that's on the app. Just different things like that, man. I'll be able to assign people workouts and all those different things. And then, of course, I offer my services through the app. So it'd be kind of like a membership thing, obviously, some personal training services, virtual personal training services, life coaching services. And then if you want, you can request workouts written by me, and that's basically the online training. But it's going to be pretty dope. I even offer mental health services as far as like spiritual counseling, different things like that. A lot of stuff coming, and it's going to be geared more towards the facility. But right now, it's just the app, so it's going to be good, man. I'm going to have it for $9.99.
How about the actual? What's that price?
Yeah. Hey, $9.99. I don't want to kill too many people. It'll be a pro version, and that'll give you more access just to meet, as far as consultations and things like that go. And even maybe free online training as time goes on. So maybe a written workout from me like each week or something like that. So that's all stuff working out, but it's coming out soon to be here. At least within the next week, so I'm excited.
Oh, see, I didn't want to put it out, but I know it was next week.
Yeah, well, we can cut that out. We can beep. Let's do that.
Okay, that's good, man. Well, I'm proud. I bought the ab ripper. That thing, man. Hey, bro.
You like it?
It's good. I'll say this: when it comes to working out, my weakness has always been my core. It's always been my core because I just hate it. I just hate it. It's usually a breathing thing though.
Yeah.
Which I know is important. But I know when it comes to working out, that's by far my biggest weakness. But I haven't pushed myself to do it. And I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm like, he got the videos, click the link. I'm like, this man got it all. So that's good, man.
I appreciate it. That's a great review. You know what I mean, man? I can post this clip on my website. That's a nice review.
Yeah, I'm on day 2 of it. So, obviously my after I get enough pain, I might have a negative review. No, I'm kidding.
Do it 3 times a week, man. I promise you have an 8-pack. I promise.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. If I get an 8-pack, man, I'm buying the pro version.
Bro, do it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Eat right. Do at least cardio or something. You have to work out right before the ab ripper. I don't care if it's 20 minutes. Work out before, even if it's just warming up. Do the ab ripper. You have an 8-pack. Make sure you eat right though. But you have an 8-pack.
I mean, a diet's the main thing. That's always the main thing. It's always the diet.
Well, you cannot. Well, not for abs.
I'm about to say diet is the main thing for abs.
You got to eat good for your abs. If you want abs, you got to eat good. If you don't want abs, if you want like a fat pack, you can eat whatever. You still have packs, but it won't be as defined. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Sometimes I like to eat whatever, so sometimes I have a fat pack. For the average I have to make sure I eat right. Seriously.
Would you recommend jump roping? I'm a big jump rope fan.
Yes. I jump rope every day. It's part of my warm up.
You do dynamic stretching or anything?
All the time. All the time, bro.
Got my
bad. I disappeared.
I just saw the picture of you and your dog, and I was like, hold on.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, all right.
Went up all over the screen.
No, that's gone now. It was just like the video went off, and then it's all good, man. Well, my brother, I appreciate you joining, bro. This was great. Obviously, we got some more things cooking in the future, man. But obviously, the overall goal right now is for your app to be successful, and hopefully you can play in the season this year. I know I heard you've been working to get to this point, man, and obviously this I won't even call it second wave because it's not a second wave.
Don't stay there. Hopefully, well, if Canada opens up, man, it'll be nice because that mean everybody will be watching us, but we'll see.
That's a goal, man. I gotta, at this point, I just want things to be safe. I think that they opened a lot of stuff too early, and now we are here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Obviously, I'm in Florida. We had to reverse reopen, so and there's no telling. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to just surrender to the unknown. Man. I mean, we got to stay safe. There's a lot of things that has been going on, especially with that virus. So you definitely got to cover up. You got to take precautions. But I wouldn't let it scare us too much, man. It's people here that I say that were working at restaurants, man. And the restaurant owners are not just restaurants, but business owners are getting their employees checked out. Mm-hmm. And they're getting COVID or they have COVID and didn't even have any symptoms. Or some people are just getting tested. It's more testing that's happening, I think. If you ask me.
Yeah, I think people that are getting it, man, is you got people that are showing symptoms, but it's a lot of people, man, that just don't have any symptoms at all.
Yeah.
Which is a double-edged sword because obviously a lot of lives have been lost. But, on the symptomatic side, they're not having symptoms, but they're carriers.
Yes.
That type of stuff. That's the real issue right there. It's just a lot of people who got it who just won't have any symptoms at all.
Yeah.
But all we can do is pray for everybody's safety, man. And obviously, this was a pleasure. Where can people follow you at? I mean, I know it, but where can people follow you at?
Everybody, I can follow me at elevatedbeing_JH on Instagram. And just Elevated Being by Jordan Harlod on Facebook.
No Twitter? No Twitter?
Twitter.
I don't use Twitter like that either.
Me neither. True_giver on Twitter. I still haven't changed that. So it's True_giver on Twitter. Oh, and subscribe to my YouTube. Elevated Ming. Just search by Jordan Harlod on YouTube. Something to prove is out. That episode still dropping.
The link will be in the description as well, but
there we go.
Yeah, I got you on that one. Yeah, so make sure you check it out. Make sure you check them out. My brother, I appreciate you joining. And it was nice talking to you, all right?
Thanks for having me, brother. Mm-hmm.